Monday evening, about a year and a half ago, I was finally able to spend some time with my family after a hectic day at work. For the entire day, I had to listen to the negative feedback about our DevOps team. Project managers complained about the lack of communication. Developers were unhappy about the slow response from the DevOps team. Yeah. Hang on. Is it good? Cool. Yeah, it's good. Cool. Business development team wanted to start the project, but we couldn't find the talent on time, and they were unhappy. Yeah, I know. Okay, there's something wrong with the. Okay. During one-on-one with my leader, I learned that one of the clients is unhappy again because the quality of the DevOps team, the thing we provided, was very low, and they don't want to pay for our services. So, summing this up, I had enough for this day, and I was happy that I can finally spend some time with my family, put my son to bed, and I thought that was it. However, when I sat down, my phone rang, and it was pager duty. There was alert, there was escalation, so I had to pick it up, sit in front of the computer once again, and of course there was a fire in one of the projects, and I had to help the team see what's going on and help them to fix the issue. After a couple hours, it was midnight already. We were able to find the issue and fix the problem. So yeah, some high fives. We were happy, and that was it for the day. But then the red line called. This time it was my wife calling me from upstairs. That hey Adam, my water broke, and we have to go to the hospital. And after a few hours, push to production and successful deployment, I became a dad for the second time in my life, and it was cool. I knew that I have a few happy days in front of me. I have some time to get around it. But when I go back, what I knew is that I want to change things. Probably I would like to kill these DevOps things because it definitely doesn't spark joy. So yeah, hello everyone, hello GrillOps, hello Wrocław. My name is Adam. I work for a company called Netguru, and I won't be talking about Kubernetes, unfortunately. I will tell you how we kill DevOps in our company. In order to find it out, we will have to travel back in time a little bit to the pre-DevOps team era. A little bit of context of who we were back then. We were a small web development agency, a dozen or two of developers and project managers. We had simple infrastructures. We worked mostly with early phase startups. So server here, server there, and that was it. And because of that, we didn't have any dedicated ops role. Everything was maintained by our developers. They were able to manage servers and deploy on their own. Why was it possible? Because we were a small community. We had open meetings. We shared, our experiences, our tools with each other, and that was cool. We also had this thing called part-time ops. So every other week we had this couple hours which we could spend, as a part-time ops on fixing ops problems. To sum everything up, this was our definition of DevOps. So basically, DevOps is just server guys, and they are lazy because they automate everything. They don't want to repeat themselves, and they do things on server. This is DevOps, right? But we also had a couple of challenges with our approach. So first of all, we had multiple contexts at once. So there was a major release over there. There was a data migration over there, and everything happened in the same time. We didn't have any dedicated person, so it was hard to deal with that. Of course, people needed ad hoc help as well. That's usual. We needed to build tools to automate everything. We are a software development company, so we start a new project every week or so. So it's clever to automate things, add some kind of processes, checklists, and all of that to speed things up. And the early phase startups weren't in their early phases anymore, so problems were tougher and tougher every day. So time went by, and we realized that we needed someone to take us through the container and cloud journey, and we want to automate everything because it's our advantage over competition, and we can move faster because of that. And as we had more heavy DevOps to handle, we needed to invest in that team. So we needed a guy like him because he gets things done, he helps people, he's quite clever, and he knows some good tools. But one is not enough. That's why we decided to have entire team, and that's how we entered the DevOps team phase. I was a head of technology back then, and I also became a leader of the DevOps team. However, it wasn't my key priority, unfortunately. So we went into the cloud. We migrated from servers in Poland and Germany to some other servers, probably also in Germany, thanks to AWS. We implemented Docker. We pushed that to production. We improved our CI/CD game. That was cool. We assigned DevOps guardians to each of our projects, so they could have someone in case help was needed, and everything was good. But then growth did happen, and everything started to move faster and faster, requiring entire company to operate at maximum capacity. And I consider growth a nice thing. It comes with a lot of opportunities. But theory is one thing, and the reality is quite different. So let me illustrate that with an example. So 1 year we grew by 50 people, and it was an awesome achievement because it was 100% growth of the company. Unfortunately, we didn't hire any DevOps engineers back then. Next year, we grew 50 people each quarter, so that shows the scale we were dealing with. Fortunately, we were able to hire a few people. I marked them with red circle. But there was something wrong about it. Not only the fact that the people we hired were part-time magician, detective, mechanic, doctor, and of course a firefighter, but at that time we started to receive negative feedback, or I've heard some things near the water cooler, and it was not right. So I heard things like, I don't know how to do this, I'm here to do development stuff, I don't want to deal with servers, this checklist doesn't work, something is outdated, this is what DevOps is supposed to do, I don't want to deal with that, I can't access the server, I don't have permissions, all of that, and I'm getting crazy about waiting for anything to be done for weeks. So I started to wonder how bad it really was, and I asked the team what's going on. And the answer was that we couldn't keep up with the work. There were too many requests, too many projects, too many people to satisfy. Another illustration. So on the left, you can see our DevOps teams, and we have some people, some projects on the right. And instead of helping them to help themselves, like by providing some kind of self-service, by providing documentation, by pairing with them, by explaining them, giving them, I don't know, workshops or presentations, we decided that we need to improve our own game. So we need like better scripts. We need, I don't know, to put everything in one place so it's more convenient for us because we have 10 tickets. Let's make it simpler for us, not for anyone else. But there was one issue with that. We had more than 3 projects. We have dozens of projects, and they just bombed us with requests, and we couldn't even know what's going on, and we were fucked, basically. And it turned out that having great people, because the people we had in the DevOps team back then were great people, great specialists, was not enough. We didn't cooperate enough. We didn't have any good way to share knowledge, and we became a bottleneck. Suddenly, the ops knowledge among the team decreased. Something which had been widely known in the past became hard to understand. Of course, everything needed to be resolved ASAP. There was a deadline here. There was a major release coming up. So it was hard to find the time to learn this stuff, and it wasn't easy accessible for the team, so we didn't do that. And the tools we created were for us, for the DevOps team. So there wasn't even a way for people to access our repositories, our stuff. So they didn't even know how to help us. We maintained everything from our place, so it was hard to put some kind of modifications locally into the projects, and getting credential wasn't possible for anyone except the DevOps team, so it wasn't good. And there were some fights. There was a lot of blaming between DevOps and project managers, DevOps and QAs, DevOps and devs. And it was a really hard issue because DevOps team were packed with all of the tickets. They were working overtime, but the teams was still unhappy, and they were blaming them for not doing their job. So the DevOps team wasn't motivated, and the team was disappointed. Definitely, it wasn't a good thing. So I thought, why don't we hire more DevOps engineers? But it's not so easy. As you know, it's not easy to hire a DevOps engineer now. It wasn't back then as well. But our management team said that we are a software company. We are paid by the services we provide. You don't provide that much services. You don't bring a lot of cash to the company. So work it out in a different way. So we got to work even harder. Overtime became a new normal. On-call was just another shift. The things we could do during the day to prevent the system from failing, we did during the night, because there was a fire, there was an escalation, and the applications went down one after another, and we fixed them at night. There is an excellent quote from Patrick Lightbody. We found that when we woke up developers at 2 a.m., defects got fixed faster than ever, and that's true. And in the same time, our business landscape for the company changed a little bit. We got more serious clients, enterprise, more money was involved, good. But the requirements went higher, so it wasn't enough just to start a container or put some servers or run a script. We had to do this, auto scaling, auto healing, auto whatever, to make things done, and it required a lot of attention. So we had to commit for days, weeks, even months. It wasn't enough just to run a script and go away. Summing this up, there was a huge demand for our services, and we were the bottleneck. Not a good scenario. So the situation with fire. So one day the entire staging infrastructure went down, so dozens of projects didn't have access to the staging, and they couldn't test things, so it slowed down release procedures and all of that. So we sent the team over there to fix it, but client called, there was an escalation, one of the application went down, so we had to send the team over there. And of course, it was like that every time in multiple places at once. It was crazy because we tried to fix our issues, our internal issues, but then the external force came in and took our resources. It was a hard battle and uneven battle. As the result, no one was happy, neither the DevOps team nor the management. No one was happy, neither was I. And this time, a pool without the question mark, we knew that we were in big shit. Even though everyone did their best and were good DevOps engineers, that led to a real problem, and that required desperate measures. And we entered a DevOps wartime phase. This DevOps wartime is taken from our Slack channel we created for that purpose. So it sounds scary, but it was actually a good thing for the company. What went good in the DevOps wartime? So before the DevOps wartime, in order to get DevOps on board with some task, you could ask in a back channel, ask in a regular channel, post a ticket, ask during making a coffee, send an email, whatever. So there were dozens of ways you could ask for help. And of course, we didn't really know what's going on what we should focus on. So during DevOps wartime, we decided redundancy. That there should be only one way of requesting for DevOps help. We created this channel, and if you wanted to get help from us, you had to go through that dedicated channel. And for the first time in history, we knew what we should do and what the priorities were, and it was very different what we used to do. We introduced daily meetings with stakeholders, so we included project managers, account managers to the party, and we decided every day we decide with them what should we focus on. So, for instance, it wasn't that unusual that we fixed something which was with a due date of in 1 month. However, there was a fire going on, and we didn't even know about it because we had hundreds of projects, and it was hard to know that. But with help of other people, we were able to align on priorities and put the attention where it was needed. And actually, we had all hands on deck. By all hands, I mean the entire company. Everyone participated. Everyone did something. For instance, our CEO stepped in on the Slack channel, and he told us that, "Hey guys, I'm with you. I can support you. What do you need to get around the problem?" And other people from management. This looks like silly. It's just Slack messages, but actually it meant a lot for us because it meant that we are not alone in this, and we had support from the higher management. And we started cooperating with different departments. So, for instance, the developers started to write articles about how to build, ops-friendly systems. That was good because it came from the developer side, not from our side. We, as a DevOps team, we started to build our internal knowledge base and created articles describing our flow and procedures and all of that. We created a manifest between developers and the DevOps and the rest of the company. It helped us to have a contract between us, and it bounded us to get the job done without complaining. And we introduced some kind of automation to help us to deal with regular problems and issues. And it also gave us focus. So, for instance, we have this quarterly goals for each department, and usually we had about 7 or 8 goals per quarter. But during DevOps wartime, we sat down and we thought about it, what's going on, and we knew that actually there are 3 things we should focus on. One was the quality of our service, because no one was satisfied with that. Communication, realization, it wasn't good. And the second thing was the time needed to do the requests It took us, days, even weeks to make even simple requests like accesses, like logging, like adding some kind of service. It took us days. And the third thing was that I mentioned before that we started a lot of projects back then. We wanted to improve the time required to set up, for instance, staging server. It took us, 16 days. We wanted to narrow it down. That's why we introduced goals like this. So we wanted to have NPS from tickets above 50. NPS is Net Promoter Score. If you don't know that, let's assume it's the satisfaction from our clients from -100 to 100. So we set it pretty high. We decided that we need to decrease the lead time needed for completing the ticket to be less than 2 days, and we wanted to set up new staging environments in less than 1 hour. So, the goals were simple, and we committed to do just them. So in general, wartime gave us the company-wide sense of urgency, better collaboration, higher engagement. It opened our eyes to new possibilities. We started to see that there are new ways which are possible and we can do things differently. It gave us focus, and this was something we really needed. Okay, so we sat down and we wrote down what we really needed. We needed to collaborate. We needed some goal, a destination. We need to automate a lot. We need to iterate and experiment because it's possible to change things. And we need to communicate better. And this slide is important. And actually, time went by and we started to receive a positive feedback. So someone recognized that, hey, we are trying to be better, and they appreciated our efforts. They kept their fingers crossed for our actions because they've seen that some things are clean, some things are better. It's easier to cooperate with us, and the cooperation was smoother. And yeah, the situation became clearer between different departments. So it was quite good, but we were just getting started. And we entered the DevOps enlightenment phase. I like this phase the most. So let me tell you about my aha moment with DevOps. So this is a screenshot of my casual conversation with friend Bartek. And Bartek mentions 2 books here. One is The Goal, and the other one is the Phoenix Project. And he also uses word mega for the 4 times, which if you knew Bartek, you would know that this really means something. So yeah, I bought those books. I read them. I actually read a couple more. And you know what? When I look at my understanding of DevOps before I read these books, it looks like metrics. Okay, so there are some symbols over here, over there. Maybe I can see something, maybe I can understand something, but I really don't. But the time after this enlightenment, after this aha moment, was that okay, so this is DevOps. Now I started to see patterns. I started to see everything coming in the right place, and something clicked in my head. So it turned out that the list we prepared before, our realization was actually these are the fundamentals of DevOps. This is what DevOps is really about. That's what they preach in these books, in talks, in conferences. So this is DevOps. Okay. So it's not about servers. And yeah, actually, we updated our definition. First, I implemented this definition in my head. This is the definition taken from AWS page, which says that DevOps is actually a combination of cultural philosophies, practices, and tools that increases an organization's ability to deliver applications and services at high velocity. So it combines the people aspect with the business aspect, and this is what DevOps is all about. But there was one more thing. We had this DevOps team already, so I started to look for some some kind of descriptions how the good DevOps teams look like. And I found a regular page by Martin Fowler, so yeah, a guru. And I found out an article about DevOps culture, and actually it says something, and it says something about anti-pattern. And I read later, and I realized that creating a dedicated DevOps team is actually one of the common anti-patterns in the world of DevOps. So I was very disappointed. But yeah, this is how we killed DevOps. But we finally got to the point when we started to live the DevOps culture. We're still in our early phase, but I'm glad to see that things are changing, and we definitely know more about the right DevOps. And I would like to do you know Colms? Anyone knows Colms? Okay, some of you. So Colms is a term brought to us by Diamond Edwards and John Willis about 10 years ago. So this year marks 10th anniversary of the DevOps, if you didn't know. And it stands for culture, automation, lean, measurement, and sharing. These are principles of DevOps, all of them. So we knew the fundamentals, the principles behind DevOps, and we started implementing them in our day-to-day life. And let's start with the culture. So we focused on the people, because people are the most important thing. So we started to have conversation with QAs, with PMs, with account managers, how they would like to collaborate with us, what's important for them, what is their perspective. We were able to put DevOps principles in one of our quarterly teams for the entire company. That was good. We stopped blaming each other. So usually it was like, on our internal channels, it was like, oh, the developers, they don't know shit about this and this. And we said, stop, let's don't do that. It doesn't help anyone. We started helping people to understand DevOps, and we did what I do right now. We talked a little bit about it, that, hey, servers, yeah, that's only part of the story. There is more behind it. We focus on continuous improvement, Kaizen, whatever you call it. So it's not necessary to change, to introduce massive changes. You can just do incremental improvements and you will be good. And we also started measuring culture. It's a bit controversial, but there is a framework for that. We asked about work happiness, about the communication, all of that, and it helped us to understand where our bottlenecks are. Another aspect of DevOps, which is automation, you all like that. So what was there? We introduced a company-wide bot called Bob the Bot, and Bob helped us with different things, like he gathered feedback about our actions, also provided team with the status of their tickets. You didn't have to ask people and take their attention. You just had to put the ticket number, and the bot was there to tell you what's going on with the ticket. We also have simple automation telling who's on call, who's going to support you if there is a problem, and so on and so on. That's one thing. We also introduced Prometheus company-wide to all of our services. It helped us a lot, because previously we had different tools. Right now, in that time we focused on one, and it was a good thing, because we were able to do a lot with a focused mindset. We also created a single source of truth. We combined a few of internal company APIs to have everything in one place. So every time a new project was started or something like that, we knew about it and we could apply some automation there. And we focused on continuous delivery in our projects, because that's a concept which is easy to understand for both operation side and the developer side. And by improving that, we improve business value we provided for our clients. So that was awesome. And we, of course, focused on automating the staging environment. The ticket I told you about, this 1 hour, that I can have a staging environment in 1 hour. Actually, we went down to 7 minutes, so that's a pretty good result of our efforts. Okay, in terms of lean, we asked better questions. We focus on lead time. We started to measure that. We started doing product demos. We exchanged case studies between teams, so we started learning from each other. So yeah. In terms of measurement is a very important thing, because we needed to know if we are going in the right direction. So for instance, we started to gather things like cycle time, lead time, deployment frequency, number of commits, number of errors, a lot of different things. Do we do roadmaps? How do we provide business value? What's the cycle time? And probably, dozen more metrics in there. And we gathered all of them together. We provided a report, a number. We called it Netguru Consulting Index, because we wanted to be a more consultancy like as an entire company. And we provided the team with a score, with some detailed description of what it consists of and how they can improve, or where they are excelling. Yeah, where are they the best, so they can help other projects to be better. On a day-to-day life, on our weekly meetings, we had this dashboard. We observed how the satisfaction looks like, because it's important. What the lead time is. Do we keep the SLA or not? What's the reason? And that was it. In terms of sharing, we started office hours. We recorded webinars. We invited people to our meetings. We shared postmortems when something went down. We shared our learnings with the rest of the team. We improved our internal wiki page. It was entire department was involved in that, because we knew that when someone is looking for a solution, we can provide it within the documentation. And we also started a community of practices, like security community of practice, continuous integration community of practice. So we brought more people towards our direction, and we started talking to them and everyone benefited from that. So what's the future of DevOps in our company? Actually, we are in the middle of transitioning towards different things. So you heard yesterday the talk from Nicolas about tooling team. So we are starting a tooling team called Platform Team ourselves, and the goal is to have both developers and DevOps or operations people in that team together to make tools for the entire company to speed things up. Basically, we want to improve our productivity of the engineering teams. We also starting with SRE based on a Google concept. It won't be as much as Google, but yeah, we want to move the knowledge about how to build things so they are reliable and they work at scale to the wider audience. And of course, we have some operations people who would like to still focus on some amazing Amazon things which require expert knowledge. So we are combining with all of that. Okay, so key takeaways from our journey. You should be aware of DevOps teams. They can help definitely, but you need to get the concepts right. If someone asks me why the dedicated DevOps team is bad, I would ask the person back if they ever heard about agile teams. Sometimes, maybe not, but if there is anyone introducing agile team to the company, the goal is to help the rest of the team to get up to speed with Agile, and to learn the principles behind it. Such team is never created to solve Agile or DevOps problems in the company. So yeah, I would say be aware. And I learned a lot that we can achieve a lot more when we cooperate together with different departments, when we eliminate silos, when we share our experiences, when we take other perspective to our approach by increasing diversity. And I'm not saying diversity in terms of color, race, but you can learn a lot when you ask your QA, hey, what do you think about it? Your project managers, hey, what do you think client will say about it? So it really helps to deliver better end value to the customer and to the entire team. And of course, good change, also the bad one, requires a lot of time. And if you want to mess up with people, it takes longer and longer, so you need to be aware of that. What helps is to have some kind of measurement in place, know the destination, where are you going to, and if there are good symptoms of your change in place, so you know that you are going in the right direction. And in order to do that, it's good to have this continuous approach, continuous improvement approach. So even if you improve by 1% from time to time, at some point you will wake up and see, oh, we achieved quite a lot by doing just that. All you have to do is never stop evolving. And we are all DevOps, and we just need to get the concept, the idea, the values outside of this conference, to share them with our colleagues, with our companies, with our teams. And even though we killed DevOps, the DevOps has never been better in our case. And the last thing I have to say is that DevOps is a culture. It combines Agile, automation, continuous delivery, and many other things. It helps people to be more efficient, innovate faster, deliver business value, deliver higher business value to customers and businesses. And by taking small incremental changes, you can start your journey right away. And yeah, I wish you all of that. Thank you for being here. And yeah, have a good one.
Any questions? Okay.
Well, first of all, Adam, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It was excellent journey, and I see that you, as many of the people who started the DevOps years back, you really went through the journey of the evolution of, like you explained, the definition number 1, definition number 2, and you're right now very close to definition number 3. And this is very cool. You're one of your last slides where actually we're saying that, not want to spoil this for you, but this will be a next aha moment about DevOps. You this close, this is something I think we will talk after this, but the question I have right now about this transformation that you are undergoing is more to clarify. Are you helping your customers who use your company to help them to adopt the DevOps?
Actually, yes. So the DevOps term in our company is somehow, it's not a good thing. Instead, we are focusing on business value because actually DevOps is here to bring the business value, to increase the business value. So we actually work a lot for almost a year already to bring thinking and business value mindset to entire teams. It's not just the only person in the project who should care about business value is the project manager. It's not true. We all should care about it. So we are moving this mindset to the entire team. So maybe we're not calling this DevOps, but we treat business value, delivering business value, as the ultimate goal of that. And of course, we provide tools like continuous integration, continuous whatever we do to increase that. So maybe we are not calling that, but we are definitely sharing that with clients as well, because we are telling them right away that, hey, in order to do that, we need to cooperate. You are a client, but if you won't sit with us during stand-ups or stand with us during stand-ups, if you won't be engaged, we won't bring you the value you need, because we don't know what you are trying to build. Yeah, so I would say, yeah.
Yeah, it's not necessary we need to call DevOps.
Yeah.
I would say if the word DevOps wasn't invented, we would call us as the people like continuous improvement engineers.
Exactly.
We're here to improve, and it comes with a different thing. Sometimes we improve in tools, processes, culture, and the business itself. In the end, we make our company successful, and then we are successful.
Yeah. So yeah, the entire thing for us was, we thought about servers, and that's not enough. You definitely have to, a wider spectrum of things you can do with DevOps. Yeah. So thanks for this.
Hi, I've got a question. Even with a lot of automation, and when everything will work perfect, there are some people have more knowledge, and in the case of a fire, do you still have some DevOps team who take care of that, or all the developers are taking turns in doing
So like,
that stuff?
are they on call or stuff like that?
Who takes care of that?
So right now, like, we're in the middle of changing. So we have the pager as a DevOps team, but we went a step further than previously. So we told project teams, hey guys, okay, we will take the pager. We will be woken up at night, but all we ask you about is provide us at least with a list of services your project provides. What kind of services could go down because we see, okay, this container is dead. Can we restart the entire fleet or what, or can't we? And we cooperate with project teams, like give us at least a simple documentation or how can we tweak with that. So that helps. Of course, it doesn't solve all the issues, but we are about 600 people right now, and telling them, hey, and from now on you will have to take the pager with you. It's not an easy thing. Well, I don't have this in my contract, stuff like that. But yeah, so I told you about this concept of SRE. We are going to bring that, so there will be some developers who are wearing the pager, and by showing what the results are and how does it improve day-to-day life of our developers and people involved in creating software, how does it improve? We are going to show the value, and of course, we would like to have all of the people wearing pagers at some point. That would be good. I don't mind, being woken up if I mess something up, but it increases ownership, accountability. Yeah.
Who's next?
We can always talk during barbecue. So
Okay.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Thanks.